back to another edition of the Dirty Verdict Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Peter Taaffe.
I'm your other host, Kyle Herbert.
And batting in the 3-hole, Bill Ogden.
Woo! Bill, who do we have today?
Chad Pinkerton. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, fellas. Chad's wife, Jennifer, came on a couple weeks ago, and she did great. And Chad said he's watched her episode like 10 times, and he agrees.
At least 10 times. I'll lose. So amazing. I'm a little nervous. I'm not sure I can,
Chad, Chad has a fear of speaking in public. So,
I mean, if Bill can do this, we have a lot of confidence in you.
Yeah. Listen, I was non-verbal.
And before we go any further, we got to handle a little podcast business,
okay?
Which is Bill's birthday was celebrated in the last week, and Chad, is today your special day?
Today is number 52.
Wow.
This is a place that people come and celebrate their life events. Will Adams celebrated his wedding anniversary with us.
That's true.
Yeah, I never forgot about that.
So he also it was like the anniversary of him asking Renee Zellweger to the prom as well.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to hit that too hard.
So happy birthday, Chad. What number is it for you?
52.
All right, very good.
52 years young. We got you, I don't know if you're diabetic or not, we got you banana cream pie to celebrate your birthday and Lizzo. And we got the buttermilk pie, both from House of Pies, just down the street.
Look great.
So
Do you get one on work for me?
All right, if you're watching at home, you're gonna see us eat into these pies. But if you hear us, you might just hear some.
Unless Bill picks that one up and slams it in your face.
I mean, I do have my birthday dinner with my wife a little bit later, so I may have just a small thing.
That's fine. Whatever you need to do.
And I'm on a diet because I'm fat.
Well, you don't look that fat, and both of these pies are low-fat, sugar-free.
Oh, seriously.
Always bring the shittiest pies.
And sugar-free.
These are Kyle, I brought you a surprise. Oh, disappointment.
All right.
It's definitely not.
Other little things. So Chad is the owner, principal of the Pinkerton Law Firm. And Chad, what's the website for your firm?
ChadPinkerton.com.
All right. And you've had that since you opened up your own shop.
I guess it was ChadPinkerton.com starting about 10 years ago.
Got it.
It used to be PinkertonLawFirm.net, and everybody kind of didn't like the .net idea, so we moved it over to ChadPinkerton.com.
I spent some time on your website today in your Instagram feed.
Oh, you did?
It's pretty aggressive. If you guys want to check it out, I mean, Instagram, just Chad. There's two. There's Chad Pinkerton, the person, and then Chad Pinkerton Law Firm. Or is it Pinkerton Law Firm?
Pinkerton Law Firm.
It's pretty entertaining. A little bit over the top. If you're at home and have nothing else going on, I would definitely check out Pinkerton on Instagram.
I got to say, I actually never looked at it. I know we do all the shoots and the photo shoots and the videos.
Yeah.
But I've never actually got on there.
No, it's worth a look.
I have any followers?
Like 6. And 5 of them are me and my 4 shadow accounts.
Correct. They're really good videos. They're very different than what you usually see. It's like Chad being real and talking shop and talking smack a little bit, but it's cinematically done very well. Whoever does the camera work,
Christian, works for me for a while. He does a really good job.
There's one that you start out, you say, you know what I don't like, and I'm like, I don't know, Chad, what don't you like? And you go, sex perverts, and I'm like, you hand me a sex pervert.
That's a new one, actually.
Yeah.
That's something I can get behind.
Does anybody in here have a pervert?
Don't. You shouldn't ask that. Yeah, you shouldn't ask Kyle that.
What is Bill? Bill always says we're not going to kink shame you unless that's your kink.
Unless kink shaming is your kink, exactly.
I'm not saying I like sex perverts or not. I'm just saying it's not my job to judge other people.
Don't feel like we offended Kyle.
Yeah. No. Don't. Just. I mean. Go crazy, America. Do what you want to do.
Somebody's got to be on the other side of the battle,
right?
All right. I'm on the anti-pervert camp.
Wait, we kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Listen, that came about, but it's God. I'll go ahead and fill y'all in. I mean, he's pretty nasty human being, but he sent some, what do they call them, dick pics?
Sure.
And then I had to litigate the case because he became very harassing. And he's a pretty high up fella. And then after that, we settled the case, and then he got arrested for some sending to minors.
So yeah. So that really didn't like you. So that kind of pervert, well, we are very much against.
So you're
thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, if you are harassing ladies on your phone and like going after little kids. We are solidly anti that.
And the deal is his dick pic was not impressive. It's like, bro, you can quit your brain.
Did you get to depose the guy?
No. It didn't work out.
I was gonna say question.
I was gonna say, you know what would have been really funny is like if you take the picture but you print it out like on a legal size. We'll be like, I don't know. I'm just gonna hand you Exhibit 1. Is this to scale, sir?
Sent him a 20-page demand to his work email. Oh, and he was settled for click.
All right.
Pretty.
Okay, so how many lawyers do y'all have now?
3.
And
Small shot.
But I feel like you've kind of transitioned to where you're taking less cases, but they all have very high value. Is that fair?
That's the model. You know, years ago I had 10 lawyers, 20 paralegals, and when I was doing that, I did that for about 8 years or so, and it just wasn't a lot of fun for me. And I didn't enjoy not being involved in every case. And I didn't enjoy cleaning up everybody else's messes. So I went back to the old school, the way I started this whole thing, with a few associates and a few paralegals and trying to just handle maybe a couple hundred cases at a time. Most of them try to put them on the higher value side and work on those.
Less work, higher value.
I wouldn't say less work. I would say fewer cases, a more complicated type of work.
And more focus.
More focus.
Quality, not quantity.
Yeah. Like, I know a lot of guys are in the car wreck docket and they have thousands of those. Shoot me in the head right now. I'm never doing that. I mean, I don't enjoy that practice.
Got it.
It's not any fun.
Got it. And Josh, you getting the audio okay from him? Okay, good.
Chad, where'd you grow up?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh man,
Like Dallas proper, like Dallas Carter, like downtown Dallas, or one of the burbs?
In the burbs, like Richardson, Garland, Lake Highland.
G-Town.
Yeah.
Hey, would you go to Lake Highlands High?
I went to Lake Highlands. Yeah.
Star basketball player in high school.
Well, let's don't exaggerate that. I was on the basketball team, and I was on varsity for 3 years, and I did okay. But
That's star.
A stud, not a star.
And then Texas Tech for undergrad.
Texas Tech, yes, sir. Still grad and grad school. I got my master's there also.
That's right. Were you doing physical therapy?
Yep. I got my physical therapy degree.
And still a very proud Red Raider.
Did you play basketball at Tech?
No, I drank at Tech.
But they actually have a varsity drinking squad.
Yeah, I was actually the MVP of that 3 years.
Yeah, All-American, academic All-American.
And I still got good grades, but it's Tech,
Right.
It's not super hard to get great grades there. No offense, Texas Tech.
Sure.
But it fit my lifestyle perfectly.
Look, you're not out there to embarrass anybody, right? You're living in the meaty part of the curve. That's a great place to live.
I'll pick a different adjective on the curve.
Yeah, the meaty part.
Well,
The girthy part of the curve, kind of.
look, you're not embarrassing the professor by doing too great, and you're not embarrassing the rest of your classmates by doing too poorly.
All right, that's a good way to look at it.
So, Bill, you have anything? You're a little quiet.
Where'd you go to law school?
U of H. That's what brought me up. I was working in Dallas at the time as a PT, applied to law school, got into U of H. That was where I wanted to go. But my plan was to go to U of H, spend my 3 years here, and move immediately back to Dallas and start a law practice or work in Dallas. Within a year of being here, I didn't even interview at any law firms outside of Houston. I just loved Houston and never left. Been here ever since. It's been, I guess, 24 or 5 years.
And you're top in your class, right?
Third.
There you go.
There was 2 girls in front of me, but I did get St. Louis encephalitis. It almost died my 3rd year. Got to be modest. You want to throw that in there. So I could have been top of the class, but there were some issues.
How those others, the number one, number two, how'd they wash out career-wise?
Both of them did very well. Partners at law firm. They were kind of big law firm lawyers.
Yeah.
And I think they're both still practicing at the big firms and their partners.
That's unfortunate.
Great careers. My class was full of really great lawyers. I mean, we had a good class.
So remind me, what is St. Louis encephalitis? Is it like a spinal disease? What is that?
So it's when your brain swells, it's usually from a mosquito bite. I got bit by an asp, and I mean, fellas, I damn near almost died. Like literally almost died.
Were you like swell up, working in the yard or what?
No, I think I got bit on my patio at my apartment where I was living during law school.
What are the chances of that? I've never heard of that.
Well, there's probably some drinking going on.
Always is.
Wait, did you bite the bug or the bug bite you?
The bug bit me, but I just probably wasn't paying great attention.
So you were practicing physical therapist for a while before law school?
2 years.
And what made you decide to go to law school?
I always wanted to go to law school. I just didn't have the sack to do it. I didn't feel like I would do great on the LSAT, and I was kind of afraid of it. I have a reading disability, and so reading is always a complicated thing for me. It takes me a while to get through stuff. And on those standardized tests, I don't usually perform that well. So I was worried about it. And so I always just took kind of the next best thing. So an undergrad, business school, and then kind of did this multidisciplinary science deal and graduated with that. And then I went to PT school because I didn't require a standardized test at the time, and went through PT school. But in the back of my mind, it was always, I wish I could be a lawyer. And then at some point, I was like, man, shit or get off the pot if you want to be a lawyer. So behind the scenes, I didn't tell anybody. I studied for it, went and took the test, scored high enough, and applied to 20 schools and got into 19.
Nice. What'd you not get into?
American University.
In St. Louis?
Yeah.
Where they invented the encephalitis.
Right, I was about to say, you just got a bad run.
Maybe. I don't think St. Louis is a place for you. But
I thought American was in D.C. Am I wrong?
Oh, yeah.
You got George Washington,
Yeah.
who's in St. Louis.
America is in D.C.
They got a bunch of them up there. So first job out of school was Ware Snow Fogel Jackson, I think at the time.
Where Snowfall and Jackson.
Doing through the phones.
Where Jackson.
Got it.
Lee Ware died. He died when I was working there. Great lawyer. I still know Don Jackson very well. Just saw him the other day.
And then, so I was working at the Busby Law Firm with another lawyer, classmate of Tony and I's named Chris Johns. And I remember Chris Johns came to Tony and said, there's this guy, he's super smart, super aggressive. I think you should try to hire him. And that's, I think, how you came to the firm. Is that right?
Came about. I was in Vegas on a bachelor party. Chris called me on Saturday and said, listen, Tony wants to hire you, but you keep, kind of ducking this issue. Either you want to come work here or not. He wants to interview you tomorrow. So I got on a plane Sunday morning, flew back, met him for like a late lunch, him and Chris Johns, and he interviewed me right there.
And you came in, I had just left because my kids were young and I needed to be in Austin. So I took a job in Austin and I had left. So Chad came in, and then you were there for what, about 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Okay. And then when you left, this was after the ISOM explosion, I think. Mm-hmm. And I came back in. So we never actually overlapped.
We didn't overlap there, but we kind of knew each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Not everybody,
Knew of Peter Taaffe.
not everybody wants to.
I'm sure when you came in, after I left, every case that you had was like, yeah, Pete screwed this up. And you're like, oh, this guy must.
And this case is trash. You're gonna have to fix this.
Yeah.
He didn't say that.
Yeah.
You were a legend in the office.
All right, well, maybe not so, but I appreciate you saying that.
No, you were. Wish we had Pete. Tony would always say, if Pete was here, this would not happen.
Well, but everyone has their own little talents. But anyhow, so ISOM came up, and circumstances of you leaving Busby, what was going on?
Well, before we get to that, I've met you and Tony both. Real, just laid back, right? You and Tony. Just go along, get along, kind of fellas.
Yeah. Let me tell you,
Soft-spoken.
how Chad is now, he was 10 times more,
I believe it.
more Chad than
I believe it.
then.
And so when you get a couple of real small personalities like that in a room together,
Yeah.
was it just smooth sailing the entire time?
It was not.
No.
I like the honesty there.
I mean, Tony and I, he's my boss. He's my mentor. I always look up to him, love him to death. Taught me just about everything I needed to know about practicing law and how to try a case. And so always appreciative of that. But yeah, Tony and I had our battles.
Sure. Like in a good relationship in the office, Dennis.
But I think
You and Andrew have some battles?
yeah.
I mean, once in a while, yeah.
Good for him.
I appreciate that. I've told my staff I sometimes make choices like a fourth grader. It's like every now and again, they'll take a case. They'll be like, hey, you told us to file this piece of trash. We got trial in 6 weeks. What are we going to do? And I'm like, there's no way I told you guys to file that case. And they're like,
Here's the email.
they're like, this is literally the email you said F those adjusters filed this case, and it's got $3,300 in damages. And I'm like, well, I guess we're going to have to find some associate to go try this thing. Now, I try and tell my folks, like, stand up to me. I'm wrong, not as often as I'm right, but we all make... The reason you hire good people is for their good ideas.
Like, so we've interviewed a lot of lawyers who had just recently opened their firm or close in time. And, you know, the common theme is that they had reached a certain point at their firm where they were making someone else a lot of money through their efforts, and they were like, hey, it's time for me to go do my own thing. Is that pretty much kind of the decision matrix for you on your leaving?
So I was in a weird position in that point of my life. I was struggling with alcohol and trying to get sober at that time. And so that led to some of the conflict with Tony and I. I mean, he recognized the problem too and was encouraging me to get sober. And I was struggling with that. The work was always good, but I think the attitude sometimes was bad. So there were some issues there. And then the next thing was I wanted to get paid like some of the other lawyers in the firm, but I was a very young lawyer. I was a third-year lawyer. But I wanted points on cases. I wanted to get paid like Chris Jones and
Peter Taaffe.
So Peter Taaffe,
when Peter was there.
that was his nickname back then.
Jamel.
Points Taaffe.
Joe Jaworski, all those guys. I wanted to get paid like them. I wanted points on cases. But Tony wasn't ready to do that with me. I hadn't been there very long, to his defense. But I felt like I'd earned it in the time that I was there, but he wasn't willing to do it. And so with that issue and the personal issues I was having, it was probably just time for me to leave. And there was an opportunity for me to go get those BP 2005 cases, and I wanted to do that at the firm, but if I wasn't getting points on it, I wanted to just do it for myself.
05, is that Texas City?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was...
I saw.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go out on your own at that point.
I did.
And that's it. You've been Pinkerton Law Firm ever since then.
Ever since, never looked back. I went out on my own with about $20,000 in the bank account, a house, a payment I couldn't afford, a couple of car payments I couldn't afford, a baby on the way, just newly married. It wasn't like a brilliant decision, right? I mean, it turned out good, but most of the time that's a recipe for disaster. But you know, you just go out and you start grinding, you work hard. I got lucky. The BP 2005 ISO event paid off really well for all of my clients. We did very, very well in that case, but that took 3 years. And in those 3 years, I hit some pretty good sized cases and got fortunate to get some lawyers to send me some cases and did good work on them and made some money to get me to the next point in the business. And you have to do that. If that doesn't happen, you're going to fail within the first, 3 years.
Yep. So you touched on this on alcohol. I know you've been sober for a long time. How long have you been sober?
16 years and 2 days. So
Congrats.
and it'll be 16 years.
Excellent. So something happened on your birthday, probably some kind of...
The reason the sobriety date is August 22nd is because of the birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was binging a little bit, having a little bit of fun.
So if you don't mind, Chad, I know it's personal, but I've heard you talk about it on, what do you call it, Jan? What do you call it? Ninja? Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk with him about it. So how many times did you have to go through the process before you finally kicked it?
Like how many actual rehabs? Mm-hmm. I think it was 4 actual rehabs. I mean, the first one I went for here in Houston for, I think, 17, 20 days. I stayed sober after the first one for almost a year, 10 months, but I never really identified myself as an alcoholic or an addict. I just thought I just needed to kind of,
Chill out.
put it to the side for a while and everybody around me and chill out, and then I could go back to drinking one day. I didn't go to AA. I didn't have a program. I didn't do any of that stuff. But I did stay sober for 10 months or so. And then the wheels came off, went back to rehab. I stayed in that rehab for maybe 48 hours, checked myself out, and went to the bar, straight to the bar. Then I went to a really expensive rehab in California. I stayed 30 days there, spent a bunch of money there. Felt like I was making progress, and I stayed sober for about 17 days after that one. And then I was it was a good bit that I was drinking and having issues. And then I went to rehab for the last time in La Hacienda here in Texas, stayed 33 days there, and that's where I found sobriety and finally convinced myself to, look, this is the problem. I've got to make life changes. It's not going to go away. I am an alcoholic. I am an addict. If I don't treat this, it's going to kill me. And do I want to be around for my family? And so made the decision to change my life, and it's the best decision I ever made.
Was it the stakes got real high, or was there something that clicked the fourth time?
Well, the fourth time, so it was my birthday, right? I went out and did my thing, got drunk, used drugs, made a mess of my life. My wife left the following day, took my daughter with her.
Your first wife.
My first wife, yeah, Leanne. And took my daughter Peyton with her. It was over, filed for divorce. So that was kind of the impetus for sure. It's like, okay, everything's falling apart and you got to do something. So that was the reason I kind of went to rehab. I wasn't going to go to rehab, but my mom called me and said, just go one more time. Because I was ready to end it. Let's just be honest. I didn't see a life ahead of me that was worth living. So I felt like I was about ready to check out, like legit. And I'll tell you, that's the God's honest truth. And there's some details to that, but I won't share all of those details, but it was bad. But when I got to rehab, there's something interesting that changed for me was I put, God back in my life. For a long time, when you're having success, and I think you guys know this, is you become your own God. And you live according to whatever rules that you set for yourself, and everybody else has to kind of follow whatever you're doing. But God came back in my life in the first couple of days of that treatment. I felt like God spoke to me, and that really was the difference maker, because it was like, okay, this is it. I'm never drinking again. I'm never picking that stuff up again. I don't care if I live a month or 6 months or 6 years or 30 more years. I'm never drinking again. I'm not using another drug. And once that kind of happened, I'm a guy that if I commit to something, it's most likely going to get done, right? Anything I commit to. But I finally committed to it and worked the program and do the things to help me stay sober. And it's been great. I mean, I don't have drinking issues. I don't think about drinking. I don't miss it. Don't put a line of cocaine in front of me. I don't know what would happen. I mean, but I'll stay away from that stuff. But you guys, other people can drink around me. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't affect me. I don't miss it. There's not a part of me that wants to go back to what that lifestyle was.
Good for you.
Lots of folks that do what we do struggle with these issues, probably more so than almost any other line of work. Do you have any, kind of rule of thumb advice for people that might be facing these issues down? Because I've got a lot of friends that have gone through this, and unfortunately not as many as successfully as you have. You got any rules of thumb or bright ideas for folks that might be dealing with issues like this, or having a coworker or a loved one that's going through it?
The first step is just be honest with yourself, right? If you can't be honest with yourself about the problem, you're not going to make any progress defeating the problem. So if you can honestly say, listen, you don't have to say, people get so hung up on, I don't want to admit that I'm an alcoholic. Well, do you abuse alcohol? Does alcohol cause problem in your life? Is it causing problem with your marriage or your work? You don't have to say you're an alcoholic to say, listen, I want to stop. I want to abstain from this. I need some help. So if you're honest with yourself and you say, listen, this isn't working for me and I need help. And the second thing is, once you're honest with yourself, be honest with the people around you, because it's the people around you are going to get to hold you accountable. So once you're honest with them and you say, listen, I have a problem. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm committed to this. And you tell those people around you, hey, I want you to help hold me accountable. Once you give them that authority in their life, then you have some people for support. And that will help you in the early days of sobriety, because they're tough. I mean, look, I'm 16 years in and I don't miss it. I don't ever think about it. And my life is great. But the first year was hell. I mean, it was living hell. The last thing I'll say is, this is a trick that one of my early mentors taught me very early on. I credit him with helping me stay sober, is when you're early in sobriety, like the first few days or the weeks or the months, You think about drinking all the time. It's the obsession, right? Not a lot of us don't have like the physical part. I didn't have much of the shaking, sickness, vomiting, stuff like that. That's not for everybody, but that mental obsession, like you associate drinking with everything you do. I associated it with playing ball. I associated it with watching football. I associated it with after I had a victory. I associated it with if something didn't go right at work. I associated it with 3:30, I could get to the bar, have a few drinks, and get home, and nobody would know. Everything in my life revolved around the ideas I could have a few drinks at some point. And it was a good reason or a good excuse to do that.
It's like Homer Simpson says, it was the cause of and solution to every problem.
That's right. That's right. And so what he taught me is every time you think about it, the second you think about it, is to give that away to God. So say a prayer in your head. I have my own little prayer. It takes me about 10 seconds. I can do it without closing my eyes, just going straight down the road. I can do it while I'm on the phone talking to someone. If I have a drinking thought, like, man, that beer looked really good. That's a drinking thought. Or, I wonder what it'd be like if I could drink again. Or, all those people are over there drinking and I can't drink. Those are all drinking thoughts. The second that thought gets in your head, that's the cancer in your brain. So the second that happens, you say your prayer. You give it to God and you get rid of it. And if it doesn't go away, say the prayer again. And if it doesn't go away, say it again. And then it will. And then I was doing that 60, 70, 80 times a day early in sobriety. A few months in, I was doing it, 10 or 12 times a day. 6 months in, I was doing it 6 or 7 times a week. And now I haven't done it in years.
Nice.
But when it does happen, if I ever have, I have had drinking thoughts, like a commercial on it, think, man, that beer looks so good. And then if that comes in my head, the first thing I do, I don't care what I'm doing, is I say that prayer. And I give it to God, and that just makes it go away. And that's a good habit. It helps you get rid of the obsession, because the most deadly part of this disease is not the physical part, it's the obsession, because the mental obsession is what keeps you going back.
So I think we talked to Jennifer about this. So lawyers, have a higher incidence of these kind of things. Do you think it's the nature of our business that drives people to drink, or do you think just people with addictive personalities are attracted to the trial lawyer?
Look at the kind of people we are, and it's pretty simple. I mean, we're very competitive, obsessive, type A, driven business people that want to succeed not only for ourselves but our families. I don't care what business you're in. If you're that type of person, you are lending yourself to a crutch of something, because you got to have some kind of release. And a lot of times the most natural and easy release is alcohol.
It's socially acceptable too.
Very acceptable. Everybody will go have a drink. Nobody thinks of it. So yeah, I mean, lawyers are plagued with this problem, but it's the kind of people you are. But let me just tell you this. Some of the smartest human beings I've ever been around in my life are alcoholics just like me. And some of the most successful, driven people I've ever been around in my life are alcoholics just like me. The problem is, the longer you do it, the shorter you make your business life and the shorter you make your actual life, because it's going to kill you. It's going to physically kill you. It's going to shorten the days in your life. You're going to get diseases like cirrhosis of the liver or heart disease or any other disease that can kill you. Or you're going to actually kill yourself in a car accident, or hang yourself, or shoot yourself. That's the way alcoholics end up, okay? There's no easy way out. You don't get a free pass. At the end of the day, it's going to kill you. And at the end, if you drink till the end, it's going to be nasty. Have you ever seen anybody dying of cirrhosis of the liver? Go to the hospital and check that out. That's one of the saddest, most difficult things to see, because they're literally rotting from the inside, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. There's no doctor in the world that can fix that problem. You're going to die, and it's going to be horrifically painful and sad. It's going to get everybody. So, I didn't want that for myself, but I've been fortunate enough to get away from drugs and alcohol.
And so obviously there's still stress in the business. So what do you do to help manage some of the stressors?
it's how you handle stress. Like, I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this 20 years, and I have a lot of big cases and high-value cases and very good, competent defense lawyers on the other side that make my job hard, but I don't look at it as stress. I don't get very stressed at work anymore. I've seen just about everything you can see in this business. I feel confident in being able to handle it. I'm pretty damn good at this. I don't lose. Yeah, it's not always perfect, but I never really feel stress at work. I don't know if that's normal or abnormal or just something that happens with experience, but I'm not sitting around stressed out at work or stressed out because some lawyer did something. None of that shit bothers me.
I think probably there's some of the same things that you apply in the 12-step program probably help also just in stress. You realize, what's the worst that can happen?
Here's what I tell everybody. Everybody in this world on this planet needs a 12-step program. You need your 12. Just go read the 12-step program and then just change 8 or 10 words in that program to fit your life, and your life will immediately get better. If everybody had their own, I feel so grateful, right? I have a 12-step program that fits me. Somebody wrote this program 50, 60, 70 years ago. Some doctors got together and figured something out and wrote some stuff on paper, and I've got 12 steps to live by. If you have something to live by, a code, a rite of passage, how to live your life, whether you go to church or you get it out of a program or you just make your own 12-step up, you're going to have a better life. It makes life less complicated. It makes the decisions in your life easier to make. And when I said I didn't get stressed about at work, I don't. It's the home stuff that stresses me out because I'm an asshole.
I know that.
I didn't want to say it before now.
No, I mean, let's just make that agreement. I mean, y'all know me. I am an asshole, and I lose my shit. And that mainly affects the people around me, my kids, my wife, when I get upset with my parents, any of those things. And when I hurt those people, that caused me problems. And it's just part of who I am. And I know that I'm going to have to live with some of that, but I'd like to be a lot better about it. I'd like to be better to the people I actually care about, right? Like I would never talk to a client sometimes the way I address my wife and get upset with her. That would never happen. But I need to do better in the home, and that would relieve a lot of this stress, because the stress for me comes from guilt of just being a dick. I don't know if y'all I join in here.
No, I completely get where you're coming from. I've talked about it a little bit on the show, but for me, it cost me a couple of really good friends to realize, man, I am an asshole, and just kind of being able to flip that switch on and off when I needed to, work-wise, personal-wise. So Kyle is still to this day the biggest asshole I know. So.
Is there an asshole?
What's up in that?
Yeah. Is there an Assholes Anonymous? Is there a chapter?
Well,
Kyle we can take Kyle too.
There is. Unfortunately, Peter, you don't qualify. You are so nice. I mean, Peter's actually nice. It's annoying that Peter's so nice.
Oh, I know that.
It's super annoying. Is it not annoying?
I went for his birthday. I printed out giant funny pictures of his face, and we all held him up throughout the entire show a couple weeks ago. Just because I didn't have anything else.
And my wife put all 4 of them on the mantle, so I see them every day.
Nice.
No, I have the same issue, that's what when looking back when my kids were younger, I was not as adjusted, I think, as I am now. And those are my regrets from child rearing, is just being a little hard on particularly my older two. So I think everyone has the same issue.
I mean, look, parenting is difficult, right? We're talking about parenting. I mean, I got 4 kids. I got 2 stepdaughters, amazing girls. They're tremendously successful in college right now. They're just the nicest, politest, sweetest young ladies. I have my daughter that is just amazing, brilliantly smart, kind, sweet, well-liked. Everybody loves her. And then I have my son, who's a basketball star and an incredible young man and great kid. But the truth is, parenting is hard, and it's kind of a practice. You're going to screw up. And my wife give her some credit. She's like, look, you gotta give yourself a little grace. You're going to screw up. You're going to mess up. But when you mess up, just try to fix it the best you can. And the things that you want to change, try to change them. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to bat 1,000 at being the most greatest parent in the world. And I think, I've been hard on my kids and I discipline them a lot, and I don't let them do everything all the other kids. And there are guidelines and rules in my household that you just don't break. But they turned out pretty damn good, even with all my screw-ups, right? And I did all the screw-ups sober. None of them have ever seen me drink. I mean, my daughter was 8 months old when I got sober, so she doesn't remember it. So drinking had nothing to do with it. I was stone cold sober and still, pretty messed up parenting sometimes, right? But you got to give yourself some grace. It's like anything else. I mean, if you don't have the ability to give yourself some grace, just imagine how you're going to treat other people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I always look at it as like Neanderthals.
It's turning into like the psychology session, like with my wife. We need her.
Well,
she can actually add some.
Well, yeah, she'd be breaking us all down.
I was going to ask you because when y'all are having a fight or something and she's talking you through it, do you like, hey, don't do your thing on me?
No, I can't stand it. I call it psychobabble. I was like, look, don't do that psychobabble with me. We're not doing a bunch of psycho talk, right?
Your attachment style.
This isn't a counseling session. We're fighting. We're arguing. We can
counter. This is not about solving problems. This is about me winning.
You're not my psychologist. Been paying you, and we have those fights all.
Well, the flip side, I'm sure she says, "Hey, I'm not a witness. Don't cross-examine."
And she does that. That's not fair, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because she isn't arguing that she's gonna get my best.
She just quietly goes,
She's not gonna get to win too many arguments. Although, let's be honest, she does win. Y'all ain't my wife. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She does win just about every argument.
You ever had a civilian invite you into an argument and then you go, look, to be fair, I do this for a living. Fair warning before we get into this.
I mean, civilian, I guess, yes. People you don't know well, they do that. But I'm kind of like, I don't know if y'all are like this. Like, when I'm talking to, as not a lawyer, and people are stupid, I tend to just want to fight them. Like, let's just get this fight. Because they don't. You're too stupid to understand anything we're doing here. There's no rules. Let's just have a fist fight. Y'all ever do that?
I think that we'd be
Bill
less.
definitely does.
Not anymore. I think we'd be less politically divided if that's the approach we took to political talk these days.
I always feel like that, particularly we're going to the kids, like little boys, if they have a disagreement, they can just physically fight, whereas girls, really, it's not, they do, but it's not. So the girls do these fights with each other, this passive-aggressive and leaving people out, and the boys just like get in the fight and then good.
Yeah, we shake hands.
It's literally over.
Yeah, let's go eat some food.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the way we grew up, too.
Well, you guys both, Bill, Chad, are you still doing boxing training?
Yeah, I just actually started back with Lou Savarese.
Oh, yeah, down to Main Club?
No, he comes to my office.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So when I first started there...
2 River Lake.
You just moved there?
Just moved.
Okay, cool.
Last year.
Do you have a boxing ring there?
No, they got a gym downstairs, and there's this big open area, and he just comes in there. I mean, I don't spar anyone. I just hit the minutes.
I gotcha.
So
it's fun to
spar with Lou a few times, and look, I'm going to give you a fair warning. If he hits you in the face, it's going to hurt. Like,
oh yeah,
like I hit you 20%. I was like, well, bro, I'm not paying you $125 an hour to hit me in the face, so don't do that.
This is the moneymaker, buddy.
Yeah.
One thing
that Lou can't hide from is the 26 seconds on YouTube where he fought Tyson in his prime. You just can't hide from that.
Oh, did he hit it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming Tyson worked him out.
Yeah, he knocked him out.
Yeah.
It wasn't in that. I mean, I don't even think Lou was that hurt.
It wasn't the most powerful punch that I've ever seen Mike throw, but, I mean, just ask Lou about it. Because Lou will tell you that's the hardest I've ever been.
You want to know how good Lou is? Go watch the Foreman fight.
No, I agree.
He won that fight. I mean, the decision went Foreman's way, but Lou won that fight.
$1 million, 1 minute in the ring, Tyson in his prime. Did you take the $1 million?
I don't know if
he get in the ring with Tyson. Yeah, 1 minute.
No way. He wouldn't survive it.
No.
You'd be
well, listen, it's not my profession. I don't necessarily need that $1 million from Tyson. And by the way, that guy's an animal. and
his defense is impregnable. His offense is abominable. I'm going to eat your children. Praise be to Allah. That Mike Tyson?
Wasn't he?
To kill people.
He was.
He was so great, and I loved every moment of it. I mean, Tyson was my favorite fighter. When he peaked and went down, it was like
He was supposed to fight Logan Paul.
What Jake?
He's a Jake. He's going to fight him.
Oh, they reset it?
They reset it.
Yeah, Mike had like an in-air health issue where they had to like emergency land. It turned out to be just like a non-issue with his heart, but they thought it was something serious. So yeah,
I'm pretty impressed with this Jake Paul kid. Have y'all watched this kid?
from a financial aspect, yeah. But he fought one real fighter, Tommy Fury, and he got worked up.
No, he didn't get worked up. I watched that fight. It was a close fight.
It was good.
Tommy Fury won the fight fair and square, but it was not a dominating performance. That kid can fight. I'm telling you right now, look at what he's done. You know how these boxers operate.
I do.
You have to fight 20 fights where you get paid $1,000 to go fight whoever they put in front of you. And if you go 20-0, then maybe you'll get a TV deal where you get to make $10,000, and you'll do that for the next 10 fights of your career. And what he did was like, fuck that. I'm going to skip all of that. I'm going to pick my own fights, and I'm actually going to go fight. And all the people that are out there like, oh, it's all BS. They're throwing the fights. Dude, he's working dudes over. Those are real fighters.
I know they're throwing fights for sure, but I think that Tommy Fury's a tier 3 boxer.
He is, but he's a professional boxer with 30 bouts under his belt. He had 60 amateur fights.
No, I agree.
So he's a real pro, and that was a close fight.
It was closer than I thought it would be.
He's way bigger than that kid.
Okay, let me ask you a question, and then we'll kick it to the other guys.
I love boxing, brother.
Me too.
I love
3-round exhibition fight. You in the ring with one lawyer in Texas. Who you want?
Oh, it's got to be Tony.
Now that he's
Look, T-Bone 11. Now he goes, I would like 3 rounds with you in a ring.
yeah,
We can settle that little argument we had in Florida. You're going to watch this. We had that argument in Florida. You stood up. I stood up. Oh, everybody got in between. You remember. We can settle that. We can settle it once for all. So, Tony, if you're out there, let's hook that up. He's challenging. Everybody's going to come see that.
there's a couple of things. One, he's slim now, so you're getting him at the right time, even though he was a recon Marine. Is it MMA style or straight up boxing?
No, it has to be boxing. I can't do MMA.
Yeah, Tony's got training.
Bill, who are you fighting?
If I'm picking any lawyer,
Don't be scared.
not. I just haven't thought about it.
Can you pick a woman?
Bill is the.
I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of. The one in my head. I have one in my head, but I can't say her name.
Well, also was Chad.
Someone old and frail.
One time, Tony said, "Okay, let's do punch for a punch," and I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And he's like, "Yeah, do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So,
You were how old were you? He's like, this was 3 months ago.
The Buttermilk Law Firm was the hottest place I ever worked in my life.
Sounds crazy.
I mean, we had some crazy times, but it was a lot of fun.
so I took my little shot, which was nothing, and then he hit me, and I thought my heart stopped. I'm not kidding. I was like, "Oh my god!" So
Pacifist, man. I don't
How are you saying this? Oh, you're taking odds on Tony.
no, I'm just
Seeing Tony, who are you taking?
I'm just kind of giving the
He's so scared.
I'm giving right now.
Right now.
I would put odds on you as a favorite.
Yeah, Tony, did you hear that?
I'm still taking Tony on this one. Somebody's got to be on the other side of the action.
You got Tony.
If it was MMA style, I'd probably.
That'd be more fun to watch.
Now, here's to be honest. Tony is a badass. He knows how to fight. I've seen him.
Practice.
I've seen him in situations. He can hold his own. He's not afraid. That Marine Corps thing is for real. I mean, those are some of the baddest human beings on earth. So, Tony, we can do this, but I do want to wear headgear.
Well, he says he did. He says he did listen to the podcast.
Here, you mean a full Texas Tech helmet?
Helmet, and then the thing around my waist.
Whatever you got. Football helmet with faces.
Yeah, and that'd be fair.
Totally.
But Tony doesn't get to wear a helmet.
No.
He's a Marine. Come on. You can't open up. Yeah.
Okay, well, we need to get you on your way with your wife, but a couple things real quick. So big cases you've worked on.
We got into this pie.
Yeah.
I got 15 minutes.
Oh, we do? Okay. So let's go big cases you've worked on. I know several. What was some of the ones that you really might stand out?
The years? Well, BP 2005, I represented about 100 people in that.
Oh, shit.
That case, I don't know if I can say the settlement, so better.
No, you better not. West Fertilizer?
West Fertilizer Plant, I represented a couple hundred people in that. That was a huge settlement. I worked on the Mandalay Bay shooting event. We represented about 4,000 people in that. That case is publicly known settlement for $800 million. Me and about 5 or 6 other lawyers really worked that case up. That was a great result.
How many Houston guys were in on that? I know Mo and Benny's team had a...
No, Mo and I were partners.
Yeah, Mo did?
Case.
Okay.
Yeah, we partnered in that case.
Buttermilk?
So, yeah, I'll take that. A little piece. This is for you. So,
You don't have to eat it all.
I worked on...
You can if you want.
There's a Chevron case I settled last year. Pretty big case. Guy got hurt badly in a fire hydrant incident. He's fixing a fire hydrant and blew up. That was a pretty big case. I settled another industrial
That's ironic.
big case last year for $25 million. I mean, I mostly have done one-off cases in my career with a sampling of mass torts, right? But my mass torts are really like, here's an event.
There's 200 one-offs.
And here's something bad that happened. 1,000 people got hurt or 500 people got hurt, and we represent those people in those type of mass torts. I haven't really done the
Vaginal mash. I just like saying vaginal.
litigation or all that stuff. That's just never been my thing, because that's more like, to me, that's not really, that's more like business law and not being a trial lawyer. So I've done mostly one-off cases. I did a case in Port Arthur that nobody in the state wanted. There was a fire out there that burned for, 60 days or so and just smoked out this neighborhood. And nobody got really hurt, but everything stunk and smelled like barbecue for 6 months. It was in their house, in their clothes, in their cars. And I was like, I talked to these people, and the company was so arrogant about it. I was like, well, listen, you just bought yourself a lawsuit. And that one settled for
Who's the company?
many, many millions. Let's not say.
Let's not.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away anything that might give me in trouble.
Yeah,
This one you settled like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Was that only 2? I thought that was a while back. I thought you had another one.
Yeah, it was fired.
Oh, okay.
See, what happened in that case was it was litigated, started to be litigated, and then they went into bankruptcy. And they didn't come out of bankruptcy. And then I spent 2 years getting the judge to give us just the insurance policy so I could go after them. And so we went after the insurance policy and just crushed them.
Anything you're working on now notable that you can talk about?
I think the biggest case right now that I got in my office that I'm working on is the crane death case. Remember the tornado?
We talked about it, yeah.
And that crane, the guys at work, he's a concrete operator, and I mean, they got these guys working.
And Kirker's got the other guy, right?
Yeah, Kirker's got the other guy. And so they got him working right through this storm.
The derecho?
2 huge cranes, 300-foot cranes falls on his cabin, kills this guy.
Jeez.
So there's going to be, it's going to be painful for those defendants. I mean,
Which storm? The hurricane or the derecho?
the whatever the tornado,
Yeah.
whatever that one was.
Has someone appeared for the defendants yet?
Oh yeah, we're in litigation. We've done all our inspections. I think we're doing the truck inspections next week, and after those inspections done, we're going to start taking some depositions.
1 or 2 defense lawyers that you respect.
Oh man,
I used to say that you like, and then I realized it's hard to get a plaintiff's lawyer to say they like
I
him.
mean, I'll tell you the truth. Early on in my career, I didn't like any defense lawyers,
Same.
and none of them liked me.
Same.
I thought that was just the way it was supposed to be. In the last, I would say, 8 years of my career, things have chilled out, and you got to learn to work with the lawyers on the other side. Now, you can go to war and fight all you want, and try to kill each other in trial or at a deposition, and that's perfectly fine.
It's not personal, isn't it?
Y'all can be cool. I'll tell you a story. Me and this guy, Kurt Paxson, he's an El Paso lawyer. I got into him something horrible in the first deposition. Never met this guy before. He pissed me off. I felt like he was kind of coaching his witness. I let him have it. But in the following that deposition, in the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, I got to know this guy, and he's a good dude, and he's a good lawyer. He knows what he's doing. He's a good adversary, and we become, I wouldn't say friends. Maybe I would say friends, but I respect him. But Daryl has to be number one, right?
Barger. Yeah.
Barger is simply, and I say this, I know Daryl's ill right now, and best wishes out there, Daryl. I love you. But he's simply the best defense lawyer I think I've ever been against. And if any dude, nobody really scares me, but he'll make you a little weak in the knees. Because the thing about Daryl is he'll go try a case and he don't really care. He's tried enough of them. Win, lose, draw. He don't really care.
It won't be his best, won't be his worst.
And then Daryl just say, listen, this is the money I'm going to pay you. I'm not going to pay you anymore. Do you want that or not? If you don't want it, we'll go try the case. Be careful if you want to go try the case against Daryl, because that dude knows how to try a case. I mean, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, he's seriously dangerous. And I love him and respect him, and he taught me so much about the practice of law. So if I just going to mention one person right now today, I'd say, Daryl Barger. He's the best.
It would have been Will Moy, but now he's
And now he's on our side.
Defensive. Will's great. Will's great, but now he's a plaintiff's lawyer.
Yeah. Okay, Chad, I know one thing that I think you do, I mean, you do a lot of things well, is but you really take strong depositions. So what advice would you give to younger lawyers as far as preparing and how to approach an adverse witness that you want to get some stuff out of?
For number one, be prepared. So many lawyers aren't prepared, and super frustrating to me. You got to be prepared for your deposition. That means you need to know the documents and know the questions you need to ask. I still write an outline to this day. Now, I don't follow the outline when I take a deposition, but doing the outline helps me know what I want to get and how I want to get it and what documents I'm going to use to get it. In the deposition, I may be all over the place, but at the end of the day, I'm going to check off every question in that outline and make sure I address them. That's number one, so be prepared. For young lawyers, figure out who the hell you are, all right? Very early in my career, lawyer told me, it's like, look, you're not a very good me, but you might be a hell of a you, so stop acting like me and be you. So you got to develop your own style, and I do have my own style. I stopped trying to use big words that sound sophisticated a long time ago. I'm more of, I'm going to get in your face, and I'm going to get what I want. I am smarter than you, and I'm better at this than you, and you're not going to be able to answer the questions well, and it's going to be painful. And I do make depositions painful. And I'll give Tony credit on this. He told me a long time ago when I first started this, was you need to win your case in deposition. Don't hold anything back. You win your case in deposition. You're not saving anything for a trial. You want them to settle before the trial. And if they don't want to settle the trial, now you're more prepared for a trial. So I would think that my best skill set, I don't think anybody in this country takes a better deposition than me. Maybe that's arrogant, but I'm really good at taking strong depositions. And I get what I need. So by being myself in the deposition and turning it into a conversation, they just don't know the answers. I know the questions and they don't know the answers. The last thing I'll say is know the law. You got to know what you need the answers to look like. So you got to ask the right questions, premise liability questions. You got to know those questions, right? So that you can set them up that they can't win on appeal. When does that happen? Not at trial. You do that in deposition. That way at trial, it's super easy. So I do that in every one of my cases. What are my elements? What is the language in the case law that I got to get them to either say or agree with?
Kill their summary judgment there.
Kill their summary judgment, but also kill their appeal, right?
Right.
Because they don't really care about the defense lawyers don't give a shit about their summary judgment. They know they're going to likely lose that in Harris County. But what they're more worried about is don't kill my appeal. I want to be able to appeal this, and if I lose at trial, I need to be able to make Pinkerton feel like we may have to appeal this, and he needs to take a discount. I don't take discounts. If you're banking on an appeal, any defense lawyers out there, appeal it. I'm not giving a discount. Whatever the verdict is plus the tax at the end, that's what you're paying. Or you can pay nothing, unless my client tells me to do something else.
But let me ask a specific technical question about depots.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I've stolen several depot transcripts from your office.
Yeah.
Thief. Peter's told me about a couple of cases that you worked up where the depot just killed it. And I've reached out to your paralegal and said, hey, I don't think Chad would mind. Would you email me this?
Yeah, of course.
So you do this thing, and I hope I'm characterizing it correctly, where you're plenty aggressive. We all are in a depo, especially when it's like a corporate rep and they're going to sit there and say smarmy bullshit.
Yeah.
You do this thing where they seem to get aggressive back towards you, and you kind of go, look, now you're getting upset. And let me explain to you why that's not fair to my client or this case or whatever the situation is. I've never seen that. I love it. Tell me what the thought process is behind how you handle when they come back at you with aggression.
Okay, so, I mean, his person's natural instincts. As lawyers, we generally have really good instincts. And we have good instincts about how to deal with someone when you're cross-examining them. The witness doesn't have those things and instincts, so they're not doing 50 depositions a year. They don't try 2 or 3 cases a year. They haven't been trained like us. So when the witness, and you've seen this a lot, and I get it a lot, I'm aggressive with them. I'm setting the tone of the deposition. I'm letting them know who's in charge. Usually pretty effective. But that's only effective for so long, then somebody's going to push back. You know, you get a corporate rep in there, they're going to push back. You get a worker in there, they're going to push back. When they push back, they're expecting you to go hard in, and that's what they're expecting. But then when you switch gears and you're either nice about it or help explain it or reset their picture, like, hey, don't forget, we're talking about a person that was burned up 60% of their body, or we're talking about some people that lost their life in a trucking accident, and that just kills them, right? Because they're all ready to fight. And then you switch gears and you're nice about it, then it throws them completely off, and then they look like a complete jackass if they continue their argumentative nature. And so the next time the deposition, when they want to get argumentative, guess what they think about? Just 30 minutes ago, he looked like a jackass, and I don't want to do that again. So I'm just going to say yes to his questions and agree we can go.
I just want to go home, yeah.
And that's how you wear down the witness. But you've got to be able to manipulate the conversation and prepare to manipulate it. Sometimes when I get mad at a witness, I will take it out on the lawyer.
Sure.
Right? So I'll be nice to the witness and I'll be courteous to the witness. Then I will address the lawyer, either on a break or in the deposition. I'll do whatever, because I want that witness to know that not only am I in charge of the conversation that we're having, I'm in charge of the conversation that the lawyer is having. I'm the main guy in the show. And once they figure that out, you get a lot of yeses and agreements and uh-huhs and
or any situation where you can point out to that witness that this lawyer is going to cut them loose to save his client. Witnesses get real honest when they realize that defense lawyer is not a lifeline, and he's just there to shake his head and take it, you know.
And he has no stake in the game, right? He's representing the insurance company or the carrier or the company for which the worker works for, but he really doesn't give 2 shits about the witness.
Yep.
Just don't mess up my case, right? But, you know, the truth is, I think, you know, the best thing that I do is I'm able to think quickly on my feet. Whatever happens in the deposition, I can change gears very quickly, and I can go from being super aggressive to nice. I can go from being very professional to screaming at the lawyer. I can go.
And that's a talent, but it's also all that preparation. When you've written that outline 3 times in longhand, then you know when you can pick your spot.
It's definitely, I think people have talent. Some be a little better, but I think it's a skill.
Sure.
I think we can all be really good at that. But you got to be willing to take risk. I mean, look, guys, there's too many. I'm sorry, man. There's too many, and I'll even say plaintiffs lawyers out there. There's too many damn plaintiffs lawyers out there not willing to take risks. I'm not afraid to take a risk. I'm betting on me. Every case I have, I'm betting on me. I'm not betting on my client or anything else. I'm betting on me. I'm betting that I can make this a case. I can crush the defendants. I can scare the carrier. I can make them pay so my firm can earn money. Now, my client gets to make money, and I want them to do that. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why I do it, so I can make their lives better. But everything's a bet on me. And so if you're not willing to take chances and take risks in a deposition, it's nothing. It's nothing. Just take risk. Go for it. And you'll be a lot better off. And so many of these pansy-ass lawyers, they don't want to do anything or say anything, or they're afraid the judge will look at the defense counsel and sanction you. I don't give two shits. Sanction me. I don't care.
I bring my checkbook with my briefcase.
I think,
literally to every hearing.
and I try to be the fair and balanced. I mean, I think everything you're saying about depositions can apply for a defense lawyer who's taking a deposition. They all these avenues, I think, are equally effective for them if they choose to do them.
I think that the problem with the defense lawyer, right, is that who's their manager?
Right. They got to go up. They got people to answer to.
Here a certain way for a high-level insurance carrier or for their law firm.
If they get sanctioned, if they get sanctioned or yelled at, there's a whole committee.
Have you ever?
Nobody in my law firm that's going to come up to me and say, "Hey, Chad, you messed up. We're going to have a problem with your job," because last time I checked, my name's on it. Yeah, so nobody's going to fire.
And before I was,
You can't get fired, but you also can't get promoted any.
right. That's fair.
You're stuck.
Okay, along those lines, last topic before we let you go have dinner with your wife for your birthday.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a lot of the lawyers who've come on, I think, listen to this, starting up a law firm, it's a business, and they don't teach any of that in law school. So what advice would you have as someone who's gone through this for 20 some odd years as on your own? What business advice would you give to a young lawyer on either side of the docket?
Plaintiffs' lawyers?
We'll start with plaintiffs because that's what you know, but just maybe it applies.
Buy as many billboards as possible.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. How would we?
You started that way.
I don't think those work very well. I just don't. But
There was a time that if you were on 610, you could tell where you were by how many Pinkerton boards.
I remember going home from law school. I remember 610 to 225 changeover. There was one like right there.
yeah, I mean, there was a lot of those. I apologize.
I thought they were great.
I needed that for my ego. I was going through some stuff. I would say this: undergrad, go to business school. All right, that's the best degree. That's the single best degree you can get, is to get something in business, finance, accounting. I don't care. But if you're thinking about being a lawyer, don't do political science. Don't do some of these other career paths that they tell you to do. Go get your business degree. I mean, that's the foundation. Number two is you've got to be able to manage your money. All right, so have somebody in your office that is your accountant, that is making sure that every dollar and every cent is being accounted for, and that you could trust them. All right. And number three, you got to have a plan and start small. Everybody wants to be the big badass plaintiff lawyer day one, but that's not the type of case you're going to get. So be willing to struggle 3 or 4 or 5 years in order to just then start spending more money. And when you start spending money, be smart about how you spend it, right? You got to spend it wisely. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything out of it. And they still struggle with that. Look, I'll admit I'm not great at this Instagram stuff, or
I think it's fantastic. I think it's great.
Or I'm not great at it. You know how I get my cases? Old clients, lawyers.
Reputation.
I mean, that's how I get almost all my cases.
Emergency rooms.
Wait.
Funeral homes.
And I'd say,
I'm trying to get me this bar on your show.
No, you're fine.
no, I think he was talking
For
about
the audience, I was not in any emergency room.
Yeah. It was an urgent care.
My cards out of my car in a car wreck. Say,
Chad Pinkerton, physical therapy.
Yeah.
I'd add one more in your business. Keep your good staff.
Yeah.
Keep them happy.
look at my firm.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the same people. I mean, the fewest amount of years that any of my staff have been there is like 6 or 7. Yeah, Sheila's been there 15 years with me. My lawyers, they've been there with a couple of years with me. People stay at my firm because we have a good atmosphere. I mean, we care about things we do. We work our ass off, but we have fun doing it. And I've been in high stress environments. This practice is stressful enough. It's got to be a fun environment, a family environment, an enjoyable environment. I try to do that. It's important. But you're only as good as your staff. You really are, because you can't do everything. You cannot handle everything. It's impossible.
Yep. All right. Well, Chad, truly one of a kind.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Solid. You were better than
There was a comparison to my...
So I think it goes Peter, you, me, Kyle on today's show.
I think, yeah, as far as,
Well, what about my wife and I? Who was ahead? Come on.
it depends on what you want. After she was here, I was very centered and peaceful.
Centered. I was self-conscious.
Nobody wants to be centered. Which one was more fun, me or my wife? Don't say because she's better looking, because she's clearly way better looking and she's a very attractive lady. I'm out of my league. You know, good thing I made some money. Otherwise, just clean honey 11.
Y'all are both great. So
I'm going with you.
I'm just saying, Denver.
Just don't tell her. Please don't tell her I said that one.
I wasn't here for her episode. I was out of town. So I'm going to go with you, Chad. I think you were amazing.
We don't need your vote, Peter.
Yeah.
We don't need your 3-1. Your vote and shove it.
Okay. Did I say her? I would have changed my vote for her then.
Now you're going for her?
Yeah, I'm going to
Get some. What a sellout.
Well, thanks for joining us, Chad, and thanks everyone for joining us. Like us on Instagram or follow us on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter, maybe a little bit at Facebook,
Sometimes.
and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast.
Nailed it. That was pretty solid.
With the
B plus.
Thank you. Yeah, you're giving me some hand signals, but I appreciate that. So anyhow, yeah, we're trying to get, if you like or subscribe, you get notified when these come out, and so we try to put them out every Friday. So we'd appreciate it if you do that, and keep watching. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man.
Peace.